Welcome back to Called to Community. We are on chapter 25, Deeds, and we are now descending from 40,000 feet, where we talked about love and all these theoretical concepts, into the weeds, talking about the deeds, the practical deeds that make community work.
And who better to do that than Mother Teresa?
Mother Teresa starts us off. Doreen, what was your favorite part from this?
I mean, the line that just came out and punched me in the face, if you will, or the one that I really loved was, what we need is love without getting tired. And how true is that? You know, we often just think that it's so exhausting and we have to go beyond ourselves and work so hard to show deeds of love and selflessness and all these wonderful things. But actually, it shouldn't make us tired. It should just be part of the practicality of everyday life, which is what Mother Teresa brings across in this excerpt, I think.
Well, deeds are really the fuel. They're the oil in our lamps. And I actually find that to be true. Like when you can get over, you know, whatever resistance you may have within yourself to go and do the extra steps, that is actually what keeps you going. That is, the reward is in itself. The reward is in serving. What I loved from here is Mother Teresa's emphasis on this idea that we do not need to carry out grand things. I think each of us maybe has these moments where we're like, oh, you know, if only I would have been able to go down a different path, I'd have this much more glamorous resume and so much more to my name. But Mother Teresa says here, you know, this is all really just pride talking. And for a Christian, you know, pride really has no place, because it shows that we trust in our own abilities more than we trust in God's leading for us and for every moment.
It's also interesting because I think that we often more try to do these grander gestures or have these accomplishments to convince ourselves, not necessarily the world or other people. And to realize that that is unnecessary, that God sees the small things and just the little gestures are something that's beautiful for God. It reminds me right away of my grandmother, who had no formal education. I think only went to school through 8th grade. She didn't come from the Bruderhof. She came later in life. But, you know, she just has this wry sense of humor, these one-liners that are just killer. And she does her thing every day. And she's very crippled, so every little task takes a lot of effort for her, yet there's no stopping her. There's no just lying around saying, I've done my work for my life. For her, she's just up and at it every single day, showing that love and showing those deeds.
And fulfilled.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, we should talk about it. There are some other excerpts in here, one from a John F. Alexander, who focuses on the mundane task in community of toilet cleaning. As really the modern day equivalent.
Yeah, he really digs into that. I mean, he mentions toilet multiple times in this excerpt, and I thought it was quite cool because something like that is not necessarily something you would discuss in an article or necessarily connect it to the Christian way of life. But it is necessary, and it is very menial, and nobody wants to do it. But he compares it to Jesus washing the disciples' feet, and how it's not something that Jesus begrudgingly did. He wanted to do that, and he wanted the disciples to learn that from him. So I just thought it was really cool how Alexander puts it. And he also talks about how, like, don't worry so much about whether you're fully using or maximizing your gifts to the capacity. Just wash the proverbial feet and don't worry about how you're using your other gifts. It's not so hard.
Yeah, that is just so crucial. I think, I mean, I've experienced in community where I'm like, I think I'm really not up to my potential. I'm squandering whatever abilities I think I might have, which I might not even have in reality, but I think I have them.
What's your modern day foot washing?
So to realize that that's actually all a distraction from the everyday things that need to happen to make community a worthwhile place to live in, to make community a place that feels cared for, where people feel cared for. And I was just thinking, in this piece it talks about cleaning toilets is the modern day foot washing. Here at the Bruderhof, we share vehicles. We have a pool of vehicles, and this is like a constant complaint that comes up here, is that someone will get a vehicle after someone else, and the vehicle will be dirty. The carpets will be messy, or there'll be like food wrappings and such in the cup holders.
Outdoors.
There'll be grass and the easy thing to do is to go to the guy who's responsible for managing the fleet and say, who had this car last? I'm going to go find him and I'm going to tell him off. It's disgusting that I have to get into a vehicle like this. But really the modern day equivalent of foot washing here would be to quietly go and clean up the mess yourself and be the change you want to see.
And I think in a society right now where we are so driven by what we do in our vocations, I love how the quote from Mother Teresa ends, how she says, "You may be exhausted with your work, you may even kill yourself with work, but unless your work is interwoven with love, it is useless. To work without love is slavery." What a great analogy.
Yeah, no, you have to. The work has to be done with the broader goal in mind, with the broader goal of building up community, and it's something that is an ongoing. It's something you have to keep alive, like she says. It's a lamp you have to keep alive. You have to keep feeding it through these deeds. You have to keep reminding yourself that these deeds are important, even though they may often not be noticed. Many of them will never be noticed, but you do them anyway. You do them in a way selfishly for yourself to keep the flame of love alive. So this is something you could experience if you were to visit one of our communities. You could see which of us actually puts these things into practice.
Yeah, and let us know what your contemporary equivalent to foot washing is for you.
That's all for this time. We'll see you next week.